Hello, my name's Rob and welcome to Swift Slots. Now you may have noticed over the last few months I've done quite a lot of Scalextric's mini content covering different eras. However, there are two that I haven't done thus far. They are the Scalextric's BMW Mini and the classic late 60s or early 70s front wheel drive Mini. Now I will be addressing the front wheel drive Mini fairly soon, but don't worry, it won't be my normal hack up and respray. I'm going to make clip-in parts so I can fit a brand new S-Can motor in it, alloy wheels, fresh set of tyres, maybe something with a guide, I'm not quite sure. But whatever I do to this car, it's going to be sympathetic and it will be reversible with no paint jobs. So if you wanted to update your front wheel drive Scalextric's Mini from 60 years ago to present day, that would be possible. Anyway, that isn't really the content for this video. The content for this video is this particular car here. Now, I've got this one here, which is also going to be subject to another video, along with a subscriber's car as well. However, with this one, I'm going to go mad with it, or semi-mad. There'll be alloy wheels, a hotter motor, and so on and so forth. I'm going to try and tune this one up. I'm going to paint the roof as well, but that's for another job. But the content in this video is all about this car, and really it's just because I want to see this car running. Now, as I said in many videos before, I love checkers on a car. I also really like the BMW Mini as well, so I had to buy this car. I don't know how old this one is. It's a few years old, I'm sure. It's well out the catalogue at this point, but it's an awesome paint job. Now, my very first car ever, back in 1989, I believe, I passed my driving test. I actually had a mini van. I put 25,000 miles on that poor little van in its first year, and after the first year I ran it out of oil and water at the same time and completely seized the engine, and then I had to go and buy another car. But that was a mini van. So I love minivans. I think they're really cool. Now, this particular car to me has the look of a minivan because the tampo printing goes all over the back windows. So I think it looks really interesting. B, it's got checkers all over it, and I love checkers. And C, it's a mini, and I really like the minis. So I had to buy this car. So I think what we'll do is we'll get this car on my table. I'll show you the body in detail because it's really nicely done. Show you the insides, and then we'll stick it on Ricard Valley just so that I can see it running round primarily, and then we'll close out. So let's get you on my table, show you this rather beautiful Mini. Okay, so let's take a close look at this Scalextric's Nixon liveried Mini Cooper. And as you can see, it comes in their standard blue case, and all the details of the car are just there. And underneath, we've got two spare braids and the thumb screw. Inside the case, we have the car on the back card. Now, this particular back card has been a little bit faded. I did buy it second hand on eBay. The seller was very honest. They did say the back card was faded, so it would normally be a little bit brighter than that. It's obviously been in display in a window or something, but I'm not bothered. I really want the car. So let's pop her out and let's have a close look around the car. As you can see, it's got a very nice metal thumb screw. That must cost a few pennies for Scalextric to make, but that's their problem. So here is the car. Now, like I say, I really like minis and I really like the van. I say my van was a 1980s, a 1980 in fact registered minivan, and I say I did 25,000 miles on that in the first year. It's absolutely fantastic. I don't think I ever once used it as a van. Now, I was a trainee cabinet maker in the day, and I had visions of putting all my tools in the back of it and going off and doing jobs and bits and bobs. But I ended up getting a job in a workshop where I was all sort of based on my bench, and I never needed to use the van as a van. So I just had the van for a year, and then I blew it up by running out of oil and water at the same time, with a cabinet on the roof, as it happens, that was as big as the van itself, which was quite funny really, I suppose. So its last hurrah was, I suppose, being used as a van, sort of, albeit with a massive cabinet on the roof. But anyway, that's the story for that. So there we are. So this is the really beautifully liveried Nikon BMW Mini, as you can see. And the quality of the printing is absolutely fantastic. These little minis have got a lot of detail and really nicely proportioned. I love the little spoiler. You've got a little roof aerial there as well. Really nice and very shiny exhaust tips with holes in the end of the exhaust as well. Really clear rear lights, very nicely defined. And also, it's very, very nice rear view mirrors. I really like these mirrors on these cars. They're sort of bubbly and round and look really, really nice. And you got a little bit of a driver in there. And there's nothing on the back because, well, you can't see anything on the back because you've got all that tampo printing covering it all up, which I actually really, really like. Nice Scalextrics in the back there. And the same on the other side. And we've got some very, very nice windscreen wipers. Now, I use these accessory packs for these BMWs on lots of other cars. And I find those windscreen wipers really, really useful for other cars as well. So, and also the wing mirrors as well. You can actually file these plastic wing mirrors down and turn them into different shapes. And they're a very ready source of wing mirrors. And then we have the front. Not a huge amount going on in the front, but it's nice and clean and sharp nevertheless. And as you can see, the printing on this body is absolutely spot on. There isn't a piece of tampo printing out of place. Even going over the windows and off the roof, it's absolutely perfect. All around the corners, it's very, very well done. So this will be a very, very hard piece. To get this piece to line up with this piece, you've got a corner in the middle. So there's somehow got to print the back and the side and get it all lined up perfectly. And as you can see from the shine on the body, as I shine that around there, you can see just here that there's not a joint to be seen. It's beautifully done. Very, very impressive indeed. As I say, I love this livery. So there we are. We've had a good look at that now. Let's have a look at the underside. So nothing really is going on the underside apart from the usual sort of quick change guide, which I don't really like. I don't like these lower plates. I find them a little bit, I don't know, they rob a bit of depth off the guide, because you've got the thickness of the plastic and then you've got the double up on the braid. And as you can see here, you're supposed to have 7mm of blade. But by the time you've done all this nonsense, you know, you've got a lot less than 7mm in the slot. And also, these tyres. Now, I really don't think that these tyres are going to do anything on Ricard Valley. I think they're going to skate around like nobody's business, because this car is meant for a magnet, but obviously I don't run magnets on my MDF tracks. So this car is going to be a handful, and before I run it around the track, I'm going to try and just scrub these tyres and get some sort of grip out them. But it's going to be very interesting to watch this car going around, because I don't think it's going to grip at all. So if you want a slide fest, you might be in for a treat. So let's just whiz the bottom off here, and we'll have a look underneath the body and see what's going on inside the chassis. And there we are. So we have a full depth interior, including the driver's feet. Now, from a modelling perspective, that's very nice. But from a slot car running perspective, it's not going to do anything for the handling, because we've got a lot of weight here that really doesn't need to be there. But one thing that's really interesting is, look, we got a little fire extinguisher all the way down in the footwell. I'm not really sure whether you can see that through the window at all, but it's there nevertheless. I appreciate the detail. I just don't appreciate what that detail does for handling. I guess these are toys anyway, or at least a collector's adult collector piece. So I suppose Scalextrics really aren't that interested in performance. But you know, from my perspective, it would be nice if we had like a vacuum formed interior, and then we wouldn't need to worry too much about the detail, but we would get the performance. If it's good enough for Revo Slot, it's undoubtedly going to be good enough for Scalextrics, but it is what it is. So that's the body. Now here is the chassis, obviously. So we just got a standard light bar on the back, standard light bar on the front. We got the standard S-can motor. We got plastic gears all round. We got plastic bearings. We don't have any plastic bearings in the front. We've just got a solid axle in the mountings on the chassis itself. And we've got this door here for the digital chip, which I don't ever use, and some nonsense going on with all that. Personally, I just chop it off here, chop it off there, gut all that wiring, and just put straight wires all the way through with some nice sticky tyres and a bit of lead, and that'll be good for me. But talking of lead, you got a nice big chassis here where you can fit lots of lead if you want to. So just remove that piece of nonsense there. So yeah, so we've got a lovely big space here for a nice big slab of lead, which would actually improve the handling of this car on MDF. So when I do my other Mini Cooper, when I customize it, I should be utilizing a lot of this space for a bit of lead as well. So that'll be pretty cool. So there we are. So it's pretty standard underneath the body. There's not much to see. There never really is with these Scalextrics cars. but that is what Scalextrics are. So let's pop this back together again, and let's get it on Ricard Valley, and let's see if she really does handle as badly as I think she will. So there we are, that's my little review of my beautiful Scalextric Mini Cooper in the Nixon livery, and I hope that you really enjoyed it, and if you did, maybe you'll subscribe, and if you could hit the little bell button, that would be awesome. So until the next time, thank you very much.